So this room in my house here, where the fire alarm system is, when the power goes out, it gets really dark in here. Now that's not great, because anytime the power goes out, you will get a power loss trouble on the fire alarm system, so the panel will then be beeping. Of course that gets annoying, so you want to hit acknowledge or signal silence to stop that. Now you could do it here at the annunciator, but that's less convenient sometimes depending on whereabouts you are in the house, as you have to fumble to open it. And for those of you that are new here, yes, I do have a commercial fire alarm system in my house, and that's for a few reasons. It gives way better protection than the residential systems. I can configure it exactly how I want. I can reduce false alarms, and I make videos of it to educate others on the subject and show how it works. And it's what my channel is about, is showing off life safety systems, how they work and how they get installed, all that. So it's what I'm going to be doing to rectify the issue in this room, is installing an emergency light in here. On your way into this room, you have to go through this room as well, which doesn't get much light from outside, being there's a shed there. So it might be a good idea to add one in this room. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing that today or not, as currently the only emergency light in the basement is this guy up here. I do of course have this in my room, but that doesn't help out for the hallway. And it's not like the garage building out here where when the power goes out, you only have to wait 20 seconds for the generator to start and then you have power back. The house does not have a generator for various reasons. I actually have a whole video explaining why that is. So if you're interested, feel free to check that out. But long story short, there's no power going to come back on until power is restored. So it's good to have the emergency lighting in the house. It was very convenient last power outage when we had it on the second floor to keep things illuminated, and that was something that would have been nice, is to have it in the furnace room. So that's what we're going to do, is add another unit. So first we got to go into the garage here and grab an emergency light unit and show you how we're going to install it. I've got plenty of them to install. As you can see down here, there is 4 of them sitting right there, and then another one of those Lithonia ceiling mount ones as well. Also, take this one for example in here. It doesn't need to be here. This building has generator now, and especially in a closet like this, you can definitely wait 20 seconds for the generator to come on. Another area is this shed here. This also has an emergency light in it, which really is not needed at all. So I can always take 2 more from those 2 locations and put them in the house if they're needed. But for now, we're going to leave that one there, as we've got those ones on a shelf, which if I don't put them somewhere, they are never going to get used. So might as well use them. This front one here is a fancy self-diagnostic one, which I could put that up, but I'd rather put that one somewhere a little cooler where it'll actually get seen, because that one's got some cool features on it. So I'm going to take one of these further back ones. These are just a standard non-smart, non-special emergency light. I didn't actually pay $20 for these. I only paid $5 for each of them, and I bought like 8 of them at one point. They're perfectly good. They're pretty much brand new out of box. And these do have a cord on them. That is really normal for Canada. Emergency lights don't have to be hardwired. They can just plug into a receptacle with a cord. Our requirement for emergency lighting, well, I can't remember the lux per feet that you're required, but I can tell you they do have to be on, they can't be on their own circuit. They're not allowed to be just alone. They either have to be on with lighting or with exit signs. That way, if it goes out, it becomes obvious that your emergency lighting won't work, because your lighting circuit will be out. As you can tell, this is a fairly new unit, being I bought this like 2 years ago, and the battery is still good till 2030. So these have never really had much use, and I guess it's just completely dead probably. So because this one already has a plug on it, I'm probably going to take advantage of that and just use it. I'll show you what my plan is for that. Oh, these are probably the mounting screws to hang it up. Okay, let's take the tools, take the emergency light, and head into the house and see what we can do to put this up. So I've got this receptacle here, and this is where we're going to put the emergency light. The emergency light can go right down here on this wall. This is what powers the light. So you might be thinking, well, what are we going to do? Because when you turn the switch off down here, that turns the light off, and is what we're going to do is we're going to plug it into here, but we need the emergency light not to come on every time the light goes off. for obvious reasons. You're gonna kill the battery by doing that many charge cycles. It's not meant for use like that. So we need to make this plug always on, but have this one switched. So I'll show you how you do that. Now I'm just gonna open this up live. You shouldn't really do that. You should turn stuff off. I should tell you that, but this is my job. This is what I do every day. And sometimes you can't always turn things off. You gotta know how to work safely live. Is it ideal? No, but often for testing and just for convenience reasons for other people and stopping production, you just can't always turn things off. This you could if I found the breaker, but I have no idea where the breaker is. So I'll show you what we need to do here. Our neutral and ground on the receptacle are gonna stay completely the same. We have this hot in the box. This is a constant hot. The red is our switched hot. So is what we need to do here is we need to break that little tab, and we're gonna put the constant hot on this, so the bottom is going to be always hot and the top will be switched. For this part, to break that little tab, we definitely want to turn this off. So now that that's dead, we can grab this little tab here, break it, and of course we don't want to break the neutral because it's still the same circuit. We're just splitting the hot. So there, tab is broken. Turn the light back on. And now we need to take one off of here. This is our constant hot. We need to take one off there, and we will take that to this terminal down here, which I forgot to bring something to make that pigtail, so I gotta go grab it from the garage. I've got a whole roll here of 14, so we're just going to cut a small amount off there. That end's kind of messed up. I don't want that. This is RW90, so it's actually different stuff than the Lumex that is there, but it's in no way worse. It's actually better because our RW90 is 600 volt insulated versus the NMD 90 Lumex that's 300 volt insulated, and the RW90 is okay to be in conduit where there's going to be water, so it's rated for the water. So I'm going to tie this onto the receptacle first here, so we will strip our end back there, make us a loop. We'll back off this screw. Turn that off for a second in case I bump the other one. Don't want to short to ground. Go. Okay, that's on there good. Now our other end needs to tie on to there. So strip that back enough. Is this actually 12 gauge? This might be 12 gauge. Then this guy here, we need to unsplice these guys. Like I said, if I knew what circuit this was, I'd shut it off, but I have no idea what circuit it is, and there's people making dinner and stuff and hanging out, watching TV upstairs, so I can't go shutting things off. That one could be stripped a little longer, I think. And now we just gotta tie them all together. Don't worry, it's just the light on this circuit. I'm not opening and closing a circuit with anything else on it. Okay, and now all this can go back in here. I'm going to put some tape on that receptacle to make sure when we're putting it on the box it doesn't touch the ground or anything and blow it up. After all, we're on a federal breaker here, so if you blow it up, that don't mean it's gonna trip. Actually had that happen in here before. In another spot in this house, I shorted something out by accident and it went boom. I was like, oh, breaker must be tripped. And I went back and I was like, oh, it's not tripped. Ground's off to that side, so that's not gonna hit anything it shouldn't. Now, last thing before we start putting up the emergency light, I'm going to label that one's switched and one's not. Okay, top one gets labeled. That's just light. Is it crooked on there? Maybe. Do I care? Definitely not. Gets labeled E-light. I'm sure everyone can figure out what that means. Again, is it straight? Probably not. There you go. Now everyone knows what that is. Now the fun part everyone's waiting for. Put up the emergency light. Now I could, of course, actually take things apart, take the cord out and wire it up permanently, but I don't care. It's not like it's going to get tampered with in there. Plus, to take out the cord, then I got to take off these crimps, and then you got to try and plug this hole and take this connector out. It's just a general pain, and I like having the cord because if you want to do a 30-minute test, don't want to shut off the breaker, you just pull the cord and then it's easy. So we don't have to knock out any knockouts, but we have to mount this on the wall. So I'm going to knock out these two keyhole ones there. I forgot about those are hanging out in there. Okay, so that's going to be this guy here and this guy here. Okie dokie, we'll put this like this. Probably want to go as high as we can, which is about right there. Won't do that up completely tight yet. I'll stick a level on there. Even if my stickers aren't level, I at least want to try and get this part level. This old wood is freaking solid, holy crap. That's just a little screw and you can hear it. And then this guy is just going, oh crap, we might not have left enough room for it to plug in. We'll figure it out. Okay, well, you know what? We're gonna put that head all the way. Okay, I actually lowered that by like ½ an inch, and that is much better. I didn't want that cord to have that sort of strain on it, so I believe this turned probably like that's good. This guy can aim. Oh, I think like that's pretty well fine. It's still not working yet. And so the charger's putting out 7 volts, which is good. The battery's at 2 volts. So that's definitely the problem. I think it just needs to charge up. Just because I really wanted to verify, I've put a new battery in it here. A battery that is charged. And you see that does work. You can see if we turn the lights off here, turn this on, this lights up this room quite good. See, we're at 6 volts DC here when we're charging. If we pull the power off of this, there we drop down to 2 volts. So I think it just needs some time to charge up. So for now, I'll close this guy up here. I did decide to label this when the battery was. This was a battery from September 2021 because I bought this thing in October and I believe it was there for a couple weeks and it was probably brand new then. I believe it just came in from someplace, so I'm gonna take a solid guess and say that's when it's from, but it was actually installed May of 2024, so that's important to have both, because just because it's when it's installed doesn't mean that's how old the battery was. So batteries from then, it's been active in use since when it was installed. So yeah guys, that has this installed. I may in the future add more emergency lights down here in this basement. Not exactly sure what my plan is. I think it would be a good idea to have one maybe in that room, as it's kind of the walkway into here. But at the same time, once you got the door open, it's going to come in from the hallway, so it's probably not necessary. But maybe in the garage down here or further down in the house, I will do some more. Only time will tell. And if I was to add an emergency light in this room here, I think I'd likely maybe just run a remote head off this one, since it's so close, and these do have a remote output capacity of probably 30 something watts. These guys usually are. You can get bigger ones like 72 watts, some are even over 100, but these smaller ones are probably 30 watts, and that still ensures that will run for a whole 30 minutes at its max capacity. So right now, having no load on it, this would probably go for 4 or 5 hours, but we could add a remote head in that room, that would probably be the way to do it. This still hasn't charged up yet. It's probably going to take overnight for it to get enough charge. So for now, that's not going to work, but you guys did see what it looked like with the battery, and we'll be sure to test it later on in different videos. So yeah guys, that's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you do have any comments or questions, feel free to leave those down in the comment section down below. And if you do enjoy my channel, make sure to subscribe. Also, if you are interested, I do have an Instagram account at Pickle700 for bonus content, stuff posted earlier than you'd see it on the YouTube channel, that sort of thing. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching.